And now I'd like to introduce you to one of the shining lights in Edmonton. Jodi Abbott became Norquest College CEO in 2010, and since then it has been a whirlwind. Jodi has accomplished so much in these last 2 years. She is helping to develop the brand new Center for Learning and is involved in the initiation and construction and involved in the Landmark Center for Value. Now don't be fooled by her beauty and her charm. Jodi has a brilliant connection to people and has such a feeling for volunteers and the lives of the ladies at Norquest, and everyone Jodi touches is inspired. And I know she will do that for you. And just by the way, Jodi was elected to one of the top 20 women in international sport. And we were so proud of her going off to the Olympics as a judge. And we are so pleased, Jodi, to have you here today.
Amen.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's very hard to follow this little light of mine. Wasn't that amazing? Absolutely amazing. There's an incredible bond that every girl, sister, niece, mother, aunt, wife, and grandmother share. We are all daughters, and as we celebrate Daughters' Day and the important role that women play in society, it's my absolute pleasure to share with you stories of the teachers in my life whose wisdom, courage, success, and confidence have inspired me to this day. We must remember that today is about celebrating the achievements of incredible women because it is their journey of curiosity, wisdom, and outcomes that is setting the path for future generations. We must also be grateful for the volunteers who commit time and passion to promote the elements of a civil society, regardless of gender, social stature, or religion. Through Daughters' Day, we dispel myths that behaviors, history, and sometimes culture are reasons to weaken the spirit of women around the world. Instead, we crystallize that through action and outcomes, daughters can and will succeed in everything that we do. Today is about celebrating 12 incredible women who have done just this. Some spark became a catalyst for change, and as a result, they are changing our communities. Let's not forget the men in our lives, though. We are so pleased that 4 visionary Edmonton men are the founders of Daughters' Day. How wonderful that Sharon Kara, Kucharan Bhatia, Satya Das, and the late Dieter Panu had the insight to be catalysts for change, to want to publicly recognize the intelligence, strength, and confidence that can spill into our communities from our daughters. Thank you for teaching, doing, and promoting the benefits of a civil society here in Edmonton and in Alberta. I've been asked to tell you a little about those who have shaped my life, my teachers, how the positive and sometimes negative instances in life, even when at the time they seemed insignificant, can shape an experience and a community. It's an honor to be here today to share personal lessons with you, but it's also very humbling. I do not have the incredible resolve of Malala, who at the age of 16 became a voice for girls around the world after her terrible shooting. A voice that is visionary, that is strong, and that is steadfast in her message of education for all. But I'd like to tell you several catalyzing moments in time and the people, the mentors and the teachers who on reflection have shaped my life and my role in our community. A little bit about me. I was born in Edson, small town, was a very shy little child of a family of 6 children. grandparents on both sides, immigrants to Canada, and worked very hard to do what they needed to do. As a daughter, my mother was my first teacher, a role that lasted her lifetime. You need to know a little about my mom. My mother was married at a very young age, which was not unusual in the 1940s. After a short time in the marriage, she left her husband. She was chastised in the community for doing so. And perhaps some would say this was the culture of the time. But as Sally Armstrong in Ascent of Women points out, is the culture of the time or place an excuse for how she was treated? I would say no, it is not. For she and my grandmother raised my oldest brother and sister. This took strength and courage. Beginning at an early age, I learned to go to my mother for words of encouragement, especially at times of adversity. I can always remember Mother Bear, and I'm sure you've all seen Mother Bear in some time in your life, coming out when a junior high school guidance counselor made sweeping statements about my future. He essentially told me I had little future in terms of pursuing education. I was not capable or worthy of attending college or university. Even though this was a time when I felt incredibly defeated, in hindsight, I also know that one teacher, the guidance counselor, put a barrier in the way that I needed to break through. And through the encouragement and support of the other teacher, my mother, I was motivated to excel, to use this moment as a catalyst to chart my path. My educational journey went into overdrive because I had the courage and confidence to take small steps necessary. And now to another teacher. Do you remember the name of your first teacher? How many of you remember the name of your first teacher? Wow, that's fantastic. I'm happy to say I also remember the name of mine after more than 40 years. Mrs. McClarty, my grade 1 teacher. In the introduction of myself, I mentioned to you that I was a very shy child. In fact, in grade 1, I think I spent more time crying in the bathroom than I did in class. But why is this? Well, for some reason at that time, we had to move classes, and I could never seem to find the right classroom. So instead of facing the embarrassment of walking into the wrong classroom, the place I got to know was the bathroom, a place I could hide safely. But Mrs. McClarty recognized that while I was shy and nervous, she saw potential. So she made an extra effort every day to ensure that I was in my seat in class. Not in a way that made me feel bad, but in a way that made me feel special. And just 4 years ago, I was able to thank her for seeing more in me than I saw in myself. Take a moment to think about a teacher or mentor that made you feel good about yourself. This could be a family member, a school teacher, a man or a woman. I believe we cannot build confidence on our own, but when daughters build confidence, they have courage to build communities. In my view, building communities enriches our lives. We all have an obligation to use our knowledge, our resources, and our passion to fuel our communities. Growing up in Edmonton, I had the opportunity to participate in sport. It was at the heart of our community. My involvement would not have been possible without the influence of a coach as teacher and a judge as volunteer. As my path followed the love of skating, I spent more and more time in a cold ice rink. As it happens, my coach, who happens to be my husband, influenced me. He taught me that success never comes without failure and to draw from the learnings along the way. And encouraged by Mother to give back to the community, I started judging figure skating at the age of 16. This meant volunteering many hours in cold ice rinks across Alberta, and eventually I had the privilege of going around the world. Over time, I became the mentor for young skaters as they chased their dreams, and the teacher of developing judges as they continued their involvement in a sport that they loved so much. I am proud to fulfill my obligation to our sport community as we develop our young athletes and officials. They are daughters and sons who build strength of character and resilience along the way. As a professional, I've held various roles in healthcare, and several years ago made a decision to move to a different field. The field where I could offer leadership, support, and confidence to others, the field of post-secondary education. I love working at Norquest because giving students the confidence to succeed is at the core of what we do. I want to tell you about a student, Erin. Erin was turning 30. She was living in northern Alberta, holding down a job and working very, very hard. She promised herself that on her 30th birthday, she would do something for herself. Sure enough, on that day, she picked up the phone and she called Norquest College, but she hung up before speaking to anyone. She took a moment, she gathered herself up, and she called again. This time she let the call go through, and Dina answered. A kind voice guided her through the registration process. Erin wanted to enter our social work program, but she had to challenge the English exam. For some, that would be enough. They would give up. But she studied hard, challenged the exam, and she passed. She may not have had a lot of confidence when she first picked up and made that call, but she let the thread of confidence grow within her, and this led to significant changes in her life. She's now a very confident social worker who was awarded 17 scholarships along the way. But you would never hear that from her, because while she's confident, she's also humble. Humble, skilled, and confident. You can't get much better than that. At Norquest, no matter where students are in their educational journey, we meet them where they're at. And we work with them to ensure that they attain the skills they need to succeed. It's amazing, actually, to see our teachers respect students as partners in learning, especially since teachers play such a profound role in our lives. At Norquest, the majority of our instructors and almost 80% of our students are women. They are mothers, daughters, wives, aunts, mentors, and much more. They come from 82 countries, some where culture is used to define the role of women. But our students learn that they can excel, they can pursue an education regardless of language barriers, cultural mores, income, or social status. Norquest women are strong and part of the community. It's my belief that behind each woman are her natural strengths. Women have a beautifully calming ability to make the world a better place. From great examples through history, like Mother Teresa, Margaret Thatcher, Lady Diana, and Hillary Clinton, women have empowered positive change through compassion, wisdom, and strength to heal others. We inspire, we educate, we build, and we revive communities. Friends of the college act as role models for young students. They share knowledge from around the world and encourage us to keep learning. In 2013, I was so proud to give an honorary diploma to our former Governor General, Nicole Jean. Her message of hope and perseverance during her acceptance speech was absolutely captivating. Here's what she said. Education is the key to freedom. Education builds confidence to make decisions, to face life, to accept successes and failures. The power of education is a fundamental birthright of all. As daughters, as women, I urge you not to gamble on your future or the future of those around you. Choose education to improve your life and the lives of others. But there's more. We are all students in life, but we are also teachers. Give back by being a teacher, by being a mentor to your daughters, to your sons, to the women and men around you who need the confidence to lead to success. After all, nothing can be done without hope, without confidence. So today, as we celebrate Daughters Day, take this moment to celebrate your strengths, your confidence. More importantly, recognize and honor the teachers and the mentors who gave you the courage and confidence to become a beautiful daughter that you are today. What I have not told you about myself is I would not describe myself as an active feminist. but I am a daughter, my mother's daughter. I do believe in promoting a kinder human population, and one that has resolve to get things done, where women have the ability to reject or stand above poor advice, the freedom to be who you are. I'm quoting from Sally Armstrong, where a sense of community is more valuable than a sense of control. As daughters, our teachers and mentors can be catalysts for change. And from a young woman with the wisdom of a great teacher, I leave you with the words of Malala, and I quote, "I speak not for myself, but so that those without a voice could be heard. One child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world."
Amen.
Thank you.